Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, karibu sana. Please subscribe to the channel. Go back and watch the previous videos and give them a thumbs up. For the returning subscribers, thank you so much for still being here. I appreciate your love and support. So today's video is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to show you how you can make pizza at home. It's going to be a simple follow-through tutorial that I hope will enable you to make your own tasty pizza at home. Enjoy, and remember to give the video a thumbs up. For the pizza that I'll be making, I'm using 3.5 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2.25 teaspoon of instant dry yeast, and then 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and finally 1.3 cups of warm water to make the dough. Now I'll mix in the dry ingredients with the flour and then stir them together to incorporate everything nicely before adding the oil and the water to start kneading my dough. So with a spoon, a hand whisk, or your hands, incorporate everything together. Do it patiently to make sure everything is well mixed. You don't want some parts to be more salty or more sugary than the other. We want a well-balanced flavored dough. At this point, I'm going in with my water, then my oil, and then I'll finally start kneading my dough to the perfect consistency. Remember not to overwork the dough, and when you start kneading it, you'll need to do that for around 10 to 15 minutes to ensure that it is well kneaded and the consistency is just right. Remember, you need to knead it until it is no longer sticking on your hands, and don't add any more flour other than the one that I had mentioned earlier, because the proportions will give you exactly the kind of dough that I have for my pizza. Don't worry about that dough that has fallen on the surface. Best believe nothing goes to waste and it went back to the bowl. As you can see, it's coming together nicely. I'm now going to transfer it to that surface to knead it well before I set it to rest for about an hour while I get to start working on the sauce and the other toppings. Now going to cover it with a cling film. Make sure it's sealed airtight and then set it aside where it will rest for 1 hour. by the time this dough is ready, I know it would have puffed up to the surface. I'll now start preparing my sauce. I have 2 tablespoons of oil in the sufuria, to which I'm going to add my white onions. You can also use the red onions, but since I'd started using the white ones, that's what I'm going with. Cook the onions until translucent, or until you can see like they've softened. Do not overcook them, and be careful not to let them burn. Next, I'm adding my tomatoes. These are 3 average sized tomatoes which I have blended, but depending on the quantity of sauce you're making, you can adjust the quantities of tomatoes and onions that you'll use to make your sauce. Give it a stir so that everything is mixed nicely, and then let it simmer. Tomato paste, but if you had used enough tomatoes to thicken the sauce, there's no need for this. But since mine was not as thick as I wanted it to be, I added the tomato paste, which is about 2 heaped tablespoons of paste. And then after you add this tomato paste, be sure to let the sauce cook, because if it doesn't cook well, the tomato paste will bring in some metallic taste, which isn't really nice. So just let it cook for around 8 to 10 minutes. It should be ready. This is a bit of coriander powder, cumin, and paprika. I should have added this when I was cooking the tomatoes before the paste, but I forgot. But it's still okay, you can just add it at any point, as long as you will just let it cook well. I can see my consistency is just how I wanted, thick and spreadable. Please, if it's light, it might end up soaking your dough, so try to achieve a thick consistency that will still be spreadable on your dough. Ain't nobody trying to eat a soggy pizza. For the chicken, I'm going to pour some oil into the pan. The ancestors told me when to stop. And so that is my chicken breast. That it's 1 chicken breast which I diced and seasoned. I marinated it with some paprika, light soy sauce, garam masala, and a bit of black pepper. So my oil is already heating up, and I'll put the chicken into the pan. I'll cook it for a bit of time, just to enhance the flavors, because it will cook the rest of the way in the oven. But you know, these pieces are really small, so by the time the pizza is ready, they'll be well cooked. By now the chicken is starting to cook, and guys, the whole kitchen is smelling amazing, and the chicken, as you can see, already looks delicious. Can't wait to dig in. So we're just going to let it cook for a bit more time before we can also set it aside and then start assembling everything together. Be careful not to overcook it or to burn it. forgot to mention, we are cooking this chicken on low heat. Guys, it's now 10 minutes past the time I started cooking this chicken and it's ready. I'm just going to set it aside so that I can start assembling everything together. And yo, the chicken kitchen thingy is a whole tongue workout. I'm about to serikali saidia cause So it's almost assembly time now. I've set my oven to preheat at around 180 degrees for 20 minutes. So I'm just going to work on the dough and then I'll start assembling the pizza. See what I told you? The dough has really risen and it's now good to go. I'm even thinking it would have risen more if I had used a bigger bowl, but I guess I'll never know, right? I'm now going to remove it from the bowl, knead it a little, and then I'll split it into two because I'm making two pizzas, and then roll them and assemble the pizza. So this is the first pizza I'll be making. It's a medium-sized pizza. The other one is bigger because my brother and sister are coming over for lunch, so that one needed to be bigger. This one was just the one that I was making to show you guys. If you knead the dough just right, there'll be no need to use flour when you're rolling it, but if you need to use any flour, use a little. You don't want tough dough. I've now rolled it to the perfect shape. I'm going to transfer it onto the baking tray, which I had lightly greased with some oil and dusted with a bit of flour so that the dough doesn't stick when baking. I'm now going to assemble my pizza. I'll start with the sauce that I had prepared earlier. Spread it nicely so that there are no clumps on the dough. And then the other toppings I'll use are white onions, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, sweet corn, the chicken, and cheese. For the cheese, I'll be using two types of cheese, cheddar and mozzarella. For the cheddar, I'll just put it on top of the sauce before the other toppings because it doesn't melt as well, so I prefer to put it before the other toppings. Mozzarella, on the other hand, has a better consistency and it melts evenly when you put it on top, so I'm going to use that to layer the top of my toppings after assembling everything. Guys, just use a little bit of the cheddar cheese. It really does go a long way taste-wise, so no need to put a lot. I'm nearly done now. I'm also going to insert a photo of the other pizza that I've assembled, which was a combination of chicken and some minced beef. In the oven now. I had preheated the oven at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. So we're now going to cook it for 20 minutes as well. See how the tray was giving me a hard time, but thankfully I got the hang of it. That's it, guys. Our pizza is ready. Now for a taste test. It's really tasty, guys, especially since I used both the mozzarella and the cheddar cheese. It's really bringing out the flavors. The corn is sweet and the marinated chicken is really bursting with flavors in my mouth. So I would really like for you to try out this recipe. Let me know in the comment section how it turned out. As for me, I'm heading off to enjoy my lunch. Thank you for watching this video up to this far. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and stay tuned for more interesting videos coming on this channel. Give it a thumbs up and see you on the next one. Bye.